All right, we're doing it. We're doing this thing. This is my first live episode, so I'm going to improve my background a little bit. I'm going to, get my what together. I don't know if I should say, a curse word yet or not, but at Wise Rye, subscribe if you're not already. Putting out daily content. So let's get right into it. All right, enough of me. At Wise Rye, follow on all social media. Dallas week, absolutely massive, colossal matchup. And now it's even bigger. You have that devastating, embarrassing beatdown that the Eagles took at the Link on Sunday against the Niners, who were just waiting for that game for an entire year after they get embarrassed in the NFC title game. But you have the Birds now going to Jerry World 10-2 against Dak Prescott's 9-3 Dallas Cowboys. It's crazy because just a couple of weeks ago, I was talking on ESPN, 97.3 ESPN radio, about how smooth sailing this season has been, how there's just been no issues. There's been a calm sea, and they've just been taking care of business. And then you fast forward a little bit, and you start with this gauntlet of a schedule. Birds had to go to Kansas City in a Super Bowl rematch. They come away with the win. Then they had to face a feisty Buffalo Bills team. I know their record doesn't really indicate an elite team, but that team still, going into this year, had Super Bowl aspirations. Josh Allen is still playing elite level football right now, and they're desperate to get into the playoffs. Obviously, we all know that game went into overtime. Jalen Hurts rushes one in to find a way to win that game, which was an absolute battle. And then you have the 49ers coming into town, who wanted to send a message and really get one back on the scoreboard after they got the beat down at the hands of the Birds in the NFC title game. So there's a lot of pieces here, and you don't really know how to assess that Eagles loss, right? Because you say, man, that was their third game in 13 days against an opponent that was desperate and against a really talented opponent, not just a desperate one in the 49ers. So you just don't really know how to assess it, right? But then you say, the run game is an absolute problem. You can't hand the ball off only 6 times for 13 rushing yards and expect to win a game. Obviously, on the other side of the ball for the Eagles, the defense was an absolute joke. You can't give up 6 straight touchdowns on 6 straight drives. 5 of those 6 drives, 75 yards or more. The tackling was just an embarrassment. No one wanted any smoke. No one wanted to wrap up. No one wanted to lay their hat on a ball carrier at all at any point in that game. So you give credit to the Niners. Eagles are still in the driver's seat. You felt like they were about to run away with this 1 seed in the NFC, and now all of a sudden you lose that San Fran game, and now you have to go to Dallas in a team you already beat in an epic battle earlier in the year. Eagles escaped that game 28-23. Now you lose this game. You go from cruise control, thinking you have the 1 seed in the NFC locked up, to, wait a minute, are we going to even win the division? Are we even going to win the NFC East? Right? So there's a lot of concern. I think there's a lot of tension right now surrounding this game, and it's already like that regardless of all these extra storylines when it's Dallas week. So you can hit me up. You can comment on the video at Wise Rye. You can follow me on all of my social media channels. So I'm going to be doing more of these live videos that you can watch and react to. Throw questions my way for future episodes and future videos. But not only will this game possibly determine the winner of the division, the NFC East, the winner of the NFC, aka possibly the team that ends up getting the bye and the number 1 overall seed in the NFC, which is just a huge deal, right? If you don't have that bye and 2 home games, your chances of even getting to the Super Bowl become much lower. We all know that. So besides those 2 colossal factors, you also have Jalen Hurts and Dak Prescott, who right now at DraftKings Sportsbook are both plus 350 to win NFL MVP. They are tied for the second best odds to win the MVP award right now. So on top of determining the 1 seed, on top of determining the NFC East, we have Dak and Jalen going head-to-head, battling it out for potentially a winner-take-all situation for the NFL MVP award. No, it's not literally like that, okay? But they're going to position themselves really nicely to get the MVP award here. You have Hurts with 31 total touchdowns. His interceptions are a little bit high at 10. You have Dak Prescott, Dak's been unbelievable, and it pains me to say it, but Dak has 28 total touchdowns. He has a 70% completion percentage. He has over 3,200 passing yards, 26 touchdowns, only 6 interceptions. And for me, what's up, Joey B? How we doing, bro? Trying to get back into this live video stuff here. So, as you can see, my graphics are not elite, but we're doing the damn thing. I have concerns here. I mean, how can I not have concerns after that San Francisco beatdown, right? You can't stop a nosebleed on defense. And on offense, it was ugly. It's been ugly now for quite some time, right? But the MVP candidate in Jalen Hurts has been able to bail out the Birds on multiple occasions. We talked about the Bills game. We talked about the Kansas City game. We talked about the first matchup against the Dallas Cowboys. And it was just – eventually you stuff enough crap under the rug and it's going to just explode and come out. And I think that's what happened on Sunday in that San Francisco matchup. So I don't know how to feel about this game, honestly, right? Because you have the play calling on offense that's been suspect. And the defense, everyone's screaming and bitching and moaning about how bad the defense was. And you're 100% right. But there was an old phrase, defense wins championships. I do not believe that to be true anymore. I just don't, right? I think defense can help win you championships, right? On the defensive side of the ball now in the NFL, you just have to make one play. You have to make a couple plays in a key situation, in a key drive, in the second half of a Super Bowl, in the second half of an NFC or AFC title game to help propel your team to victory. All right, Eagles fans know that better than anybody. You give up 500-plus yards to the GOAT in Tom Brady, but one play. Brandon Graham, a huge strip sack late in that game to help the Birds get the Super Bowl win. So you need playmakers, you need depth, but at the end of the day, defenses in the NFL are going to give up a ton of yards. Defenses are going to give up 300-plus yards. You're going to allow 3 or 4-plus passing touchdowns to the opposing quarterback. They're going to have a high quarterback rating. They're going to have a 68 to 72% completion percentage. That's life in the NFL. So I'm not saying what we saw as Eagles fans on Sunday against the Niners is completely okay and we should be happy about it and we shouldn't worry about it. No, it's not the case. We should be concerned. And we're going to get a lot of those answers to these questions on Sunday night in Dallas against the Cowboys. But the reason why I bring that up and illustrate that is, for me, I'm more concerned about the offense than I am the defense. Right? That's where my concern lies. You have a stud in DeAndre Swift. At least I think you do. Right? You have a guy that started out the year with like 130 rushing yards in I think it was week 1. And then he had that game against the Minnesota Vikings where he had 178 rushing yards. And you look at the past 4 or 5 games for DeAndre Swift, he really hasn't eclipsed the 70 rushing yards mark. He hasn't. And you look at the Eagles' rushing numbers as a team and you say, well, we're like top 5 to 10 in every key statistical rushing category. That's true. But it's a little bit misleading because of, number one, the quarterback, Jalen Hurts. So I'm not talking about Jalen Hurts. I want this team behind an allegedly elite offensive line to simplify things and establish the running game, because we saw it firsthand. If a defense is talented enough, which the Dallas defense is, and they come up with the appropriate game plan, it's going to be a long day for that Philadelphia Eagles offense, right? If you just dare Jalen Hurts to throw the football, if you say, we know you want to give us the RPO, the run pass option, we're taking away the run, you have to throw it. We saw that the offense all of a sudden can trip up a little bit. All right, I'm sure getting Dallas Goedert back is going to help, but he isn't the savior. He's a top 5 tight end, but he's not the savior. We need to do a better job, Brian Johnson. We need to do a better job, Nick Sirianni. Period, point blank. All right, it's just the bottom line. Now, I'm going to go off of history, recent history. As concerned as I am now after that beatdown that the Niners issued the Birds, as concerned as I am and as many questions that I have, I'm going to go off Jalen Hurts and his track record as a starting quarterback in the NFL. All right, it's damn good. He only has 3 losses now all time in the regular season, 28-3. I'm going to rely on that. I'm going to rely on Nick Sirianni to do what he's always shown us in his short career. All right, but there's a big enough sample size now where I can say that. I can say I'm going to go off of the recent history that Nick Sirianni has given us. I'm going to go off of the recent history that Jalen Hurts has given us. And I'm going to give this team the benefit of the doubt. NFC champs, a team that's 10-2, still the 1 seed in the NFC. As much as we feel like the world's on fire and this could turn ugly and go south real quick, which it all still can, I'm going to say Jalen Hurts leads this team into Dallas and they escape with a win in a thriller. I'm banking on Jalen to really flex his MVP muscles on us here, get back into the number 1 spot on the in the betting odds market, and the Birds are going to bounce back in a huge matchup. I'm going to put some more videos out there every day this week, but just wanted to, put a toe into the water today and go live here and have this content out. So at Wise Rye, subscribe on YouTube, X, formerly known as Twitter, IG, whatever you're into. All right, Birds and the Boys, huge matchup. Who wins? Comment if you have questions, if you want to debate, whatever's on your mind, hit me up. We'll talk about it all week leading up to the game in Jerry World. Peace.